it's Catherine here. Today is a little bit of a different video. It's not mori related at all, but I've kind of wanted to talk about this hobby that I have for a really long time, and I thought, why not? I'll do it today. So today is kind of a revealing my strangest hobby, I guess. And also, I want to know, after this, I'd like to hear in the comments about your strange hobbies. I love hearing about people's oddest things that they do. I think it's really interesting and tells a lot about a person. So, that being said, I want to talk to you today about my collecting. As most of you know, I'm a minimalist, so I don't really collect anything. I used to when I was younger. But I have one thing that I still collect, and it is probably the oddest thing, and that is my Bella Sara collection. Bella Sara was some collector's cards, and they each featured horses. So they're really unique. I promise I was not a horse girl in middle school, but I always liked Bella Sara because they're kind of beautiful artwork and fantasy themes, and it just was something really fun, some kind of an aesthetic that I liked in a trading card format. So I remember being in middle school and my friends started sharing and collecting cards, and I'd always liked that idea, but I wasn't really interested in like Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Pokemon. It didn't really interest me at all at the time. So I got into Bella Sara because the aesthetic was something I liked. So the Bella Sara company went out of business in like 2012, 2013. They were doing business in the US, which is how I came to find them. They sold them everywhere in the US for a long time. But when they closed down in the US, the founder moved back to her home country, which I think is Denmark, but sometimes I screw it up, so if I'm wrong, sorry. But she moved back to her home country, and she's still trying to revamp the company, but she's never really been able to do it. So basically the company kind of died in 2012, 2013, that general time frame. But they produced a ton of cards before they went out of business, and that's why my binder is so thick. So I collect all of the card series except one, which is like a reprint card series, so I wasn't super interested. But I've collected them since I was in middle school, and if you don't know now, I am graduated from college, university, and currently working and living right in Japan, so it's been a long time. A lot of my collection is from middle school. I used to buy with every single, this is so embarrassing, with every single allowance I got from my parents, I bought a pack of Bella Sara cards, and that was pretty much my entire allowance at the time, because I didn't get very much because I had a bunch of siblings, so like that's not gonna happen. But I bought a Bella Sara card pack every time. So a lot of these came from that. But then when I got older, maybe about, I want to say like 4 years ago, I always like liked my cards. I kept all of them. I would look at them. But I was interested and I was looking through them and I was like, I wonder if I can still buy them. Why don't I see them in stores anymore? And I started researching and found out about the company kind of shutting down, and I found like people selling online, and I was like, you know what? I want to collect these. I want to have a full collection. So I've been actively collecting for maybe about 2 years or so. That's what I want to show you today. I want to show you my collection and some of my favorite cards and kind of talk about why I like them. So the most important thing in my collection is the cards. These are the things that I really truly love, and I originally was only collecting series that I liked with better artwork, but then I got really committed, then I started getting all the series, so it's pretty thick. On the outside of my binder is all these stickers. So each card set in later series came with stickers, usually of like, in my opinion, the best artwork. So I put all of the stickers that I liked and some that I didn't on here and made like a cover, so the front and the back. So here's my binder in full, and when you open it up, they're in order of series, so the ones I like the least are actually the front, but you can see there's quite a few. So I'll give you a brief overview. This is the first series that was released in the US. I'm not a big fan of the artwork here, probably kind of blasphemous to other creators, but other people who like the franchise, but I'm just not a big fan. I do like the foils, are pretty cool. This is the second series. It had a lot of similar artwork, some reprinted artwork. Again, I'm not a huge fan, but I still collect them. I have pretty much a complete set of this one. It's one of the larger sets. This is Northern Lights. It's based mostly off of Norse myths. Some of these are kind of cool, like
This one's kind of nice artwork. My favorite one is this promo card, which is kind of rare because it has such pretty artwork. This series is Ancient Lights. It's mostly Greek and Roman mythology, so like Aphrodite, you can see Cupid, Demeter, Hera, Jupiter, all those sort of things. There's some nice ones in here too. I really like Diana. This one has some cool colors and contrast. My favorite cards, these two are promo cards, again kind of rare. They both have beautiful artwork, but this one I managed to collect somehow on my own. They're usually very hard to get a hold of. People had to do like special events and things, and I do not remember where this came from because I never got handed an extra card when I bought one, but somehow I have it, so that's one of my favorite cards. This card series is Native Lights. It's based on various tribes in the Americas, so anywhere from like the First Nations to like Native American tribes in America, like the United States area. This is my favorite card in this series. I think it's pretty cool. It does have a nice unique foil, but this is not my favorite series. And I have one promo for that one too. This one is Baby Bella, so it had like baby horses. It does have some really cool rainbow horses. Like, look at that. I love rainbow horses. This one is Magical Friends. It had a bunch of made up animals that made up the world of Bella Sara. It has quite a few cards that I like. I've always liked Adelea. Blossom is really pretty too. Donecha is one of my favorites because look at that. That's so cute. Also, look at this one. This series is Treasures, and they each had like a unique treasure that they took care of, I guess. I was never quite sure about the concept for this one. These ones are called Royalty. This one has some really good cards, like this one with this cool foil is one of my favorites. Really pretty. This is Bella's Ball, so this is where the story actually started. So it introduces the main human characters, which you can see here. This is Deru. She's my favorite. She's a dryad. She's really cool. So it introduced the main human characters and gave an actual storyline about adventures and taking care of this mystical world and all this sort of stuff. This is where I really started liking the series. This one is Sunflowers, also complete. This is probably one of my favorite series because if you know me, I'm a Mori girl. I like the forest, I like flowers. So this whole series is just flowers and trees, and yeah, it's really good. So this one's my favorite series probably. This one is Moon Fairies. I like this one a lot too. This one is Starlights. Everything is based off of different astrological phenomenons or constellations, other things like that. So like Andromeda, Aquarius, Aurora Borealis, constellations of some of the main characters, things like that. This one is Spring Carnival. It is 100% complete, and I have a really like a large amount of foils for this one. This one's pretty fun. It's got like a story of like they throw a carnival, the main human characters throw a carnival. So there's some that are like carousel horses, and some that are just like regular horses. So this one is Summer Camp, and it's supposed to be like Mustangs, so like wild horses. But it's not my favorite series, but it has my all-time favorite card, which is this one, Potpourri. And if you know me, you can immediately tell why, because it's purple, and I really, really love purple. So this is my all-time favorite card in the entire collection that I have. This one's Winter Festival. I just bought some more, but they have to be shipped to me from the US, so it will take some time to get to me. But these are really hard to find, so it's really hard for me to collect them. So I finally got one from a friend. And this is the last series they ever produced officially. This is the last series, Herds from North of North. It's mostly reprint art, so I'm not a huge fan of this series, but it does have these story cards which have a lot of information on them about like the story, and I liked those a lot. And lastly, in my binder, I have this here, which is some random other stuff in my collection. I have two of these lenticular cards that came with Bella's Ball. They made a few of them. That one's the main character, Emma. This one's her steed wings. So I have those. I kept some of the code cards, even though you can't use them anymore, and like my minis collections. The old series also came with games you could play. The one that's showing right now is super dumb, but they had some actual games you could play, like a version of War and things like that. So I kept those just for collector's purposes. And I had some checklists. You can see this one's from middle school when I used to check off on the checklist which ones I had. So the older ones came with checklists too. So I have those. And then the really old cards came with temporary tattoos. And I've also kept some stickers. So these are all stickers. You can see I have quite a few.
So some of my collection is actually back with my parents in the United States. Like I have some little miniature figures, they're called minis, I'll put those on the screen. I've also got a tin, which I'll also put on the screen. I got it back in middle school and I've kind of held on to it even though I've never had a use for it. Back before I was seriously collecting, I kept my cards in the tin, but they became too many to fit in the tin, and that's when I started actually, collecting full time. So then I was like, maybe I should put them in an actual binder instead of letting them be jostled around in a tin. I also have a smaller tin. I keep my extra cards in here that I trade or sell. And I also have something that I paid probably too much for because I had to have it shipped from the UK to the US, but that's this collector's ultimate guidebook. It's got a lot of the fantasy element of it. There's a whole story that goes along with the series, focused around a young girl who kind of becomes a superhero of sorts. So it's got a bunch of information on that, like the creation of the world and the other the mystical creatures and the fairies and all the things that are in the world of Bella Sara. So yeah, that's my collection of Bella Sara stuff. It's something that I really, really enjoy. I really love the artwork and the concepts, and it's just fun for me. So I hope you enjoyed taking a look at my collection and kind of taking a walk down memory lane with me. I really would like to hear about your specific collections or hobbies that you think are kind of interesting or different. I really would love to hear about them. I think it's really interesting to hear about other people's hobbies. But yeah, anyways, I'm glad that you watched this video. I hope you're having a good day, and hello from Japan. See you!